Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Here we are, another Fact, Fiction, and Fuzzy, another edition, here with my colleague at Edmentum, Kevin Gallman, and we are very pumped to have Dr. Nick Polyak on the call here with us today, joining us on Fact, Fiction, and Fuzzy. You probably know Nick. He's a published author, the Unlearning Leader. He is a great follow on Twitter. Hosts a monthly superintendent chat here in Illinois on Twitter with Mike Lubefeld. And so we're very, very excited to have Nick with us here on the call. And he's actually got a new book that's coming out that he co-authored with Mike Lubefeld and PJ Capozzi called The Unfinished Leader. So we're very excited about that as well. Looking forward to that coming out in 2021. Nick, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well, Jason, I think. Thanks for having me today. It's an honor to be with you guys.
Well, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. So Nick, why don't you go ahead and get us started here today with a fact, something that you know there. He's the superintendent. I forgot to mention, he's the superintendent of schools in Leyden District 212. So Nick, maybe a fact that you've learned there in Leyden.
Sure. This is my 21st year in education and my 8th year here at Leyden. And I think a fact that I've always known is that teaching is really hard. It's a really hard job every single day, every single year. And that's been just intensified this year. With the pandemic, what I've seen is that our teachers have been completely reinventing themselves. It's like a first year teaching for every single person all over again. But seeing our teachers rise to that occasion, knowing the heart they have for our kids, one of the facts I think I'm coming away from this year is through that reinvention, they're going to be new, better, different teachers when we get back to normal. All of the resources they've had to create, all the strategies they've had to learn to manage in this situation is going to do nothing but improve their toolbox and what they can do for kids moving forward. So maybe kind of a silver lining of a fact is knowing that this is a hard job and seeing people do it in this way has been really encouraging.
Nick, that reminds me of a bumper sticker I once saw. It said, "Teaching is harder than what you do, no matter what you do." And I think that really rings true for the times we're in now. What's something that hasn't been true or a fiction that you've seen during this time?
I struggled with this one probably the most. When we were thinking, we got through the end of last year, that was a wreck for everybody, trying to figure out how to finish the year off. And when we were looking at starting this year, we came to it with this mindset that we need to try to get the kids in person to start the year so that our teachers can build the relationships with them. Because when we ended last school year, we said at least we had existing relationships. The kids knew their teachers and we can carry it through. So we wanted to start this year in person in order to build relationships. And unfortunately, that wasn't an option for us. That didn't happen. But I think the fiction that came up for me was we didn't need that. We were able to build those relationships anyway through the creativity of our teachers, through those same kind of tools we're talking about. They've been able to build meaningful relationships with kids and parents even though we weren't in person. And so, when we think about schools as these brick and mortar places that we go, I think there's some fiction in that. School is not a building. School is not a physical location. School is a collection of experiences that kids have over the course of their educational career, that puts them on that trajectory to what comes next. So I think that's my fiction, is that, it wasn't so much about the building as I thought it needed to be.
That's really interesting and encouraging, and to think about the challenges and kind of what you said in the fact as well, that adaptability with that coming in and really encouraging to see going forward. So let's take that to our next topic in fuzzy. What's something that's been either a warm and fuzzy or something that you're still maybe a little bit unclear on right now?
Yeah, well, I'll give you maybe both. A warm and fuzzy, we brought back some of our students maybe a few weeks ago, our high need special education population, our life, our bridge, our transition programs, and our English language learners level 1 back in the building. and I got to be in the hallway when those students entered the building for the first time. And I can't even capture this accurately for you, but the kids were dancing in the hallways. They were so excited to be back at school.
Wow.
You know, we've gone from back last March, if you surveyed kids and said, would you like to stay at home or would you like to come to school? They would have all said, stay at home. And now here we are this year and kids are dancing in the hallways because they get to come back. So that's a warm fuzzy for me. I'll never forget that image and seeing that happen. The confused fuzzy and the moving forward, you know, I got an email from one of our teachers the other day just saying thank you for communication and transparency during all this. And I said, really, I've come to feel like I'm a tour guide, you know, on a bus. And I'm at the front with the microphone trying to tell people about this tour we're on. And I have no idea where the bus is going. And the landscape on either side keeps changing. So I say, look to the left and I want you to see this. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not there anymore. Look to the right. Go look at this. And so trying to communicate as much as I can, but not knowing my ultimate destination among all this has been really, really fuzzy.
Wow. That's a really good analogy. I think that many people would probably feel the same way. I love that. Well, thanks, Nick, for your time. Really appreciate our Edmentum Friday Fact, Fiction, and Fuzzy. Again, he is Dr. Nick Polyak. Look for The Unfinished Leader coming in early 2021. Cannot wait to read that. And again, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it today.
Thanks, guys. Keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Nick.